and welcome to the RPG podcast, where the redheads playing games.
I'm MJ.
And I'm Jess. And welcome to episode 3. This is going to be our best of the year episode, like best of 2017, because when you're seeing this, it will be the new year. Woo! 2018. We made it. I didn't think I was going to make it.
There were some rough points in there, I will admit.
2017 wasn't really my friend.
It wasn't awful. It kind of didn't happen for me, actually.
It went by very quickly for a not great year for me, but...
Yeah. I mean, actually, this past year, you can say it's the reason this show happens, because this is when she came to work for me.
That's true.
She got a promotion and worked for me.
Oh, I guess it's a pretty good year.
And then she left me. And then 3 months later, I just gave up.
You can't say it like I left you. I left GameStop. There's a difference.
That's true. I was heartbroken.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
There you have it. On camera. Alright, so there were a lot... Well...
There was a lot of games.
There was a lot of good games that came out. I wouldn't say this was, like, the best year for games. There's definitely been better years. But a lot of strong... Really?
I would argue that.
Or
I would say...
So you think this is, like, one of the best years there's been for gaming?
Yeah, I think there's so many games that came out that are memorable and real contenders. Whereas, like, other years, it's like, oh, yeah, that was a good year. But you can't remember why. You can't say, like, okay, well, 5 games that came out that year. And you can't be like, yeah, and they were all great. It's kind of like, I don't know.
Oh, I guess you have a point.
There was a lot of good games this year.
I mean, I can say it's good for just one reason. And you all know it's coming. The first thing I thought of when I thought of best games of 2017, Persona 5. Art book, Morgana.
Yes. And it was the first year that I finally got into Persona, and I am obsessed.
So, good year all around, if not only because Persona 5 came out. It would be a good year for me if that was the only game to come out. I'm not kidding.
I believe her. She's being very serious. You did not work with her when that game came out. It was slightly terrifying.
I did not let one person leave the store who bought that game without, like, being like... Have you played Persona before? Do you know what it's about? Are you ready? Like,
I'm pretty sure she's scared most of them at the store.
People didn't come back because of me.
Yeah.
So let's get into... I can't do this every episode. I can't rant about Persona. I can't. It'll hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, she has. I was going to say last episode was Catherine, but no, there was Persona in there too towards the end. So... I'll talk Persona this time. So, I think Persona 5 is one of the true contenders in best game of the year. It had, especially seeing it's my first time playing a Persona game, I did not expect to love it as much as I did. It had an amazing soundtrack. It had a really, really cool storyline. And just getting right into it, like the first palace that you get to, the first boss that you deal with, it's such a... absurdly horrific tale, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure everyone has at least one person that can relate to it on some level. Mm-hmm. Like, it was really powerful, really impactful. Yeah. And, like, I paused the game, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and by the time that you're reaching the first boss, you're already, like, invested in the characters. You already care about them. You feel what they feel. You're, like, you want them to win.
Yeah.
So
they do a great job, and the combat system, while it's turn-based, they do it in such a way where you feel like you're playing an action game, because as you're running around, you can determine how that battle starts.
Yep.
And, you know, if you successfully knock somebody down, then you can switch your party, so you can almost pull it into less of a turn-based and more action.
It feels like you control the flow of battle.
Yeah.
As opposed to it just being like, you go then the enemy goes. Like, it's very different.
Yeah, and their cutscenes flow right into the game.
Oh, yeah. And
I couldn't get over it. I'd never seen a game do such a great transition from anime to gameplay, because usually that's a rough art style to transition into.
Absolutely.
And just everything about that game, every aspect was fucking awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, so... I think that's going to be our favorite game to talk about for best of.
Yeah.
There's definitely some other good games that we're going to be talking about. One of them, I don't know if you want to cover it, Hellblade.
Yes.
That was a big one.
Hellblade was like one of the games that I was super obsessed with and really invested in before it even came out.
What's the full title? It's
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
There we go.
I had been watching the dev diaries from the very beginning, so, I saw them change through their art style, changed the way that they did their mocap, the way they did their sound recording, when they changed the face model for a girl that actually works for them. Yeah. And she won a ton of awards. I believe her name's Melina something. She did a wonderful job. She had no previous experience, but it was such a strong message. Like, a lot of people thought it was a little weird, but you're literally playing through someone's psychosis. And it's dealing with a lot of Norse mythology, which is my...
We'll also get into a little bit later other games that took like a very emotional like forefront.
Yeah, and you really weren't sure. It brought a lot of questions up as in history, people that have said, they've had visions of the gods or the god or, prophets and all that, and you wonder, is it them having psychosis or are they truly hearing it? And it really brings that question to the forefront for a lot of people. But it also just brings forward like a very powerful story about people that have different views on things.
And a very way to use it as like a storytelling tool.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any other game has done that, really.
None that I
And at least none that have been successful.
Yeah. And the sound in it, the way they did their sound recording, it was so different from any other game.
How do you mean?
So they did, for a lot of it, for the psychosis sounds and everything, they put a mic in the center of the room, and they had, like, improv actors, like, doing dances around the mic and speaking, so when you have your head, especially when you have your headset on, you hear their voice from all different ends.
Oh, wow.
Because it was an Omni mic, it just pulled in, and they'd fade away, and then they'd come back in, and just the way they did it,
That's
was
awesome.
incredible. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know any of that. That's amazing. Some other games, I'm fighting with my hair, don't mind me. Some other games that were very, very strong this year, we'll probably go into in depth a little bit later, but Nier Automata, which is like a hack and slash post-apocalyptic RPG element type thing.
Panty shot game?
I was gonna leave it out.
I wasn't.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, which of course Uncharted, it just always manages to find a way to top itself. Wolfenstein 2, New Colossus, Friday the 13th, which was mostly digital, but then it decided to come out on a disc because it did so strongly.
Did you play that one?
I did. It was fun. Honestly, I will say, it's controversial to say this because nobody will agree with me. I prefer Dead by Daylight, which is the same style of game where there's a killer and then survivors that have to find a way to escape. Dead by Daylight, in my opinion, I'm not, you have your own opinion, did it cleaner, did it better, did it more uniquely? Because Friday the 13th is just like, it's this guy, we know him.
Now, I haven't played it because it's playing with people, but I did have a couple guests try to explain it to me when I still worked at GameStop, and someone said that you don't, even if you're not playing as the survivors and you're playing as the killer, it's not just him. Like, there's different killers, and based on what environment you're in, they have strengths.
Yep, so if we're talking about Dead by Daylight, because they follow basically the same formula, so there's going to be, I think in Dead by Daylight, there's like 8 different types of killers right now. There might even be more because DLCs keep coming out. So like if you're playing as, I think his name is the Doctor, he has his own like hospital stage where his powers work more to his advantage than if you were playing in like the swamp, which is where, the hag would work best. So like each of these characters has their own power, and when you're playing on their map, it's more suited to them. Like, the doctor's map, he's in a hospital and there's, like, metal everywhere, and he has this ability where he can, like, send out shockwaves, so it, like, chains off of stuff and it gets someone, and you'll be able to see them, because they'll scream.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, and, like, the hag, it's all weeds and swampland, and you can't really see that much, and she sets up, like, traps on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah,
cool.
So there's, like, all these different ways for the killer to have a slight advantage because they're up against 4 people.
Right. Can the 4 people actually fight back against the killer, or the point is just to survive?
So they can, sort of. You can obtain a flashlight, which will temporarily, like, blind them. There's no actual, like, fighting and killing them, but, like, you can delay them. You can, like, stun them. But yeah, so Friday the 13th was a big one. It came out around the same time, which is kind of why it's like, people liked it better because it had that name recognition. But Dead by Daylight, in my opinion, did it better. And then also in the vein of creepy games, Resident Evil 7 is definitely one of my best of for 2017. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm a huge horror fan. And Resident Evil 7 was just, like, so cool, so unique. Like, the concepts, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played it, but, like, the people that live in that house that you end up dealing with are crazy unique. They're just, like, zombies, but not.
So, like, Cabin in the Woods style
unique? Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, man. If you haven't played it, I would highly recommend. Well, if you like horror games, because it is quite scary.
See, I can't bring my... I like Resident Evil, because Claire.
This is a totally new thing. None of those old characters are involved.
But I was always just such a bigger Silent Hill fan.
I can't wait for a new Silent Hill.
I know.
Or something of the like.
Yeah. I mean, even Outlast, like, that's more action-based. That was another one that came out this year.
Yeah, Outlast 2 and Evil Within 2.
Which I
both
heard
other horror games
was
amazing.
Very quick story, but it was really good.
Evil Within 2?
Yeah, I've
very
heard.
Good.
I had a couple people I work with at my new job, and they're, like, loving it. Mm-hmm. They said it was amazing.
Yeah, if you haven't played the first Evil Within, it's a little hard to get into because the first, like, 10 or 15 minutes is all plot-based. And if you haven't played the first one, it's a little bit hard to get into because they don't spend a lot of time explaining each thing. So, like...
It's a true sequel.
They start talking about, like, his daughter and, like, you're talking with people that were from the first one and you're like, who are these people? And so it's a little hard to get into if you haven't played the first one, I will say that. But as someone that did play the first one, I appreciated that it was, like, very much picking up where it left off.
Okay. Speaking of sequels, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, we both thought that should be on Best of.
Even though a little controversial.
A little controversial, which did die down after Star Wars came out.
We'll talk about that later.
What else we got on here?
We got Horizon Zero Dawn.
Redhead for the win!
Which is an amazing game. If we're talking about storytelling and environments, we're looking at a top contender.
Amazing job. I think the only thing that really hurt it was some of their voice actors and the facial animations. It didn't totally bomb like Mass Effect when it came to facial animations, but
another thing we'll get to.
It definitely hurt it. I think if they had stronger facial expressions on them, and just better voice acting for some of the NPCs, I think it would have...
Like, in one of those moments where you're supposed to really feel, like, heart-wrenching, it was a little bit hard to, like...
Get invested there.
Feel it as much as they wanted you to.
Yeah, and I think that's why it faded away. Because in the beginning of the year, it was, like, all anyone could talk about. And then I think because of that, it's why it's less memorable.
Yeah. I could see that being the reason. It did just come out with new DLC, though. It's called Frozen Wilds?
Yes.
Frozen Wilds, sorry. Excuse me.
Yes, and you go up north by the Bannock, like, where, if you played it, there's an area where there's, like, I don't know how much I can say, actually. There's an area up north where it gets snowy.
Perfect. That's just
You
enough.
get to go up that way, and they open up a whole new part of the map, and I really liked it, because that was also my favorite, like, tribe, was the Bannock tribe.
Okay.
I thought they were really, really cool. And I liked their gear better than any others.
And that adds 15 hours
Yes.
of gameplay. So well worth it on the DLC front for that.
If you didn't beat the storyline, even when you get to the point where you're like, oh, I know where this is going, you don't. Promise.
Let's see. Other things we have, Assassin's Creed Origins. It was a really buggy game at first, but it did completely diverge from its predecessors, and it did tell a very good story and all that. It turned out to be a really good game. We've got Injustice 2 for fighters, also Marvel vs. Capcom in that vein.
They've ruined Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not personally a huge fan of Injustice, but
we're both Soul Calibur people, so the fight style is really off for us.
Yeah, it's too sluggish.
Yeah,
because like even in Soul Calibur, if you're playing someone like Astaroth,
they're still
faster. Yeah. We also have came out the same month as Horizon Neo, which people always say, and it is a pretty good comparison. If you like Dark Souls, you'll love this game. It's essentially like if Dark Souls was set in like Japan and you play as a samurai and there's demons.
Yeah, and slightly easier.
Yeah, a little bit.
I won't break things as often.
I just love Dark Souls anyway, so I love this game.
I can't play Dark Souls. I break things.
You gotta embrace the challenge.
No, expensive things get broken.
Okay, well, we'll keep the Dark Souls away from you. We'll give it to me. I'll take the Dark Souls. A couple other notable mentions. Prey, Dishonored 2.
I love Dishonored. Not only Dishonored 2 came out this year, but Dishonored Death of the Outsider came out this year.
That's right.
So both were super awesome. It's kind of like Deus Ex style. Like you can do anything in any style. And it's so cool. Like the way they do your skills and everything.
Yeah.
I love that story.
I really liked in this one too that you had like 2 different characters you could play as, so it was automatically like you had 2 playthroughs right there.
Yeah.
You know, and they were different each time you played like each character, so I thought that was really good for them. We've also got Tom Clancy's Wildlands, South Park Fractured Butthole. I'm not going to say it the PC way. Or the GameStop way.
Yeah.
Butthole.
Yeah, no. Not PG.
We talked Evil Within, Crash Bandicoot Remaster. You want to talk about that?
Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. So
Final Fantasy 12 was an amazing game, so I love that they remade that one.
Yes, and it got so like overlooked when it first came out because it was the first time Final Fantasy was really delving into a more active, open style of game. So it was very hard for people to really vibe with. And now playing it in so much more relevant to the style of games now.
It really integrated well with like current RPGs.
Yeah, because it's not turn-based by any means. Like you do have like a little load bar for your character to actually do the actions.
Yeah.
But it's all real time. And the amount of customization in this game is insane. Like, I always told people when they pick this up, like, do not play the characters as the class that they debut as. Because usually they are the worst. I have giant, like, Excel sheets to tell you, like...
Do you really?
Oh my god, yeah.
I'll have to see that later.
Oh, it's so cool. To show, like, which characters end up with the best stats, and then, like, what licenses, so like what their class will be, what gives you the best options, and how you pair up the doubles the best. And it's just there's so much in-depth stuff in this game that a lot of people overlook. It's amazing.
So it could be one of those games that's good for people like us who are hardcore into RPGs, but it's easy for someone who's new to them to pick it up.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a
hard thing to do.
It is, and they have a fast forward button.
Ooh.
You can fast forward in 2 times or 4 times, so everything just moves quicker.
Oh, nice.
So if you don't feel like walking around the town and sprint, you don't run out of stamina, you just fast forward what you do.
That's nice.
It's so nice.
That's really cool. We also have Sonic Mania, which came out, which was actually, I loved that they did that, but then they came out with like a Sonic game a month later that was terrible and horrible and reminded people why they don't like Sonic anymore. The one where you like make your own hedgehog. I don't even remember what it's called because it was so terrible.
I know that one had Persona costumes, but that's all I know about it.
Of course they did. But yeah, Sonic Mania was like a tribute to the old Sonic games. It had all of them. Yeah, and the collector's edition was really cute and had like a Sonic figure in it. And then some other stuff that I really liked were some digital titles that came out. Pyre, which was awesome. It was made by the people who made Transistor and I think it's called Bastion. Then there was Fortnite, which is free to play right now. It's like a clone of PUBG, but you can play it on console.
Oh, so you're only talking the Battle Royale mode. You're not talking the actual Fortnite
The
game
actual...
itself.
I didn't pay for it. They said it was going to come out next year. And I'm pretty sure they said it was going to be free to play, so I didn't want to pay money for something.
If it's anything like the way they are doing Paragon, because Paragon is also Epic Games, that one they did early access, then they did beta, and in their beta they also released a disc version.
I'm sure they'll come out with a disc version. Yeah. It feels like there's no way they wouldn't. But that game, when it does come out, or if you paid to play it... There is a disc,
but... You have to pay
for Paragon?
No, for both, actually. For Fortnite and Paragon.
Oh, there is a Fortnite disc?
Yeah, there's a Fortnite disc.
Oh, I've never seen it.
But it's not used. It can't go used. So something on the disc is like one-time use.
Okay.
Apparently. I have no idea.
And then Okami HD, which I love that game. I played it on... oh, Christ.
Handheld or console?
Oh, I played it on console. It wasn't the Wii, though.
Dreamcast? No,
I think it was. I played it on the PS2.
Ah, yes.
I for some reason I had like a stroke in my brain and I was like, it didn't come out for PS2. Yes, it did, idiot. Life is Strange Before the Storm is doing really well. They're like coming out with episodes and it's a very good story. I can't talk too much on it just because it's literally all story, so anything I say could be considered a spoiler. But it's a very sweet, troubling at times story.
Sweet and troubling.
Yeah, so we also have some titles that are for Vita because the Vita is still alive.
Yes, despite what other people say.
And our best of list might not be your best of list just because we like a very specific type of Vita game.
So, Hakuoki, Kyoto Winds, and Color X Malice. Hakuoki has been being made since at least the PSP days. I think maybe even PS1 or 2. This series has been going on for a really long time. In the past, it was always just kind of like a remaster, like a fresh, fully done game, but it was always the same story. In this one, they added 3 new characters, so you got a whole bunch of new endings, a whole bunch of new stuff, and then they opened up routes for other characters.
Oh yes, you told me about that.
So, very good. I platinumed it. And Color X Malice has a really cool story, even if you don't care for the Otome games. The story in
this one is really cool.
It's super awesome.
Yeah.
It's, whatever time zone, the main character, she's a cop, and there's this crazy group that has
like
caused...
extremist
Yeah,
group.
an extremist group. They think, the police force and everything else, like, they just don't do their job well enough. There's too much corruption, so they're going to take it into their own hands. And, the whole city is on lockdown, basically, because they want to try and isolate them from getting out in Japan.
And, like, everyone has a gun, so it's very dangerous to be around anywhere.
So they opened up the Arms Act, or whatever it was.
Yep.
So everyone was issued a gun from the government.
Yep.
And it's such a cool take on the story. And every time you do it, you learn new things.
Yeah. By
the time you finally finish all 5 routes, you find out what's actually going on.
Which is why she's urging me to finish it.
It's such a great, storyline and concept.
I promise I will. I promise I will. I really want to. I just have had so much else to play and do in life.
Hopefully this will become like an anime or a live action or something, because it would make a great show.
It would make a great show.
It would make an amazing show. Oh my gosh. Because they always take out the dating stuff anyway, so then all of you would like it.
Amnesia. Another one that came out for Vita that also came out for PS4 is Yomawari Midnight Shadows. This is actually the second one. The first one was called Night Alone, and that one was only for the Vita, as far as my knowledge goes, unless they made a DLC version for the PS4. But this game's really cool. I think in this one you get to play as 2 characters instead of just the one, and it's all about being alone at night. Well, not in this one, but being alone at night, and there's all these demons and scary things lurking that you have to avoid. There's no fighting. No fighting, but...
Another no fighter. Okay.
It's quite scary. I got spooked. Because, like, if you get too close, or, like, they creep up on you, it, like, flashes on your screen, and you're like, what the hell?
So it's like a Slender or Five Nights? Or...
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I would never compare anything to Five Nights because it can go away, please.
Yes. If you work at GameStop, you hate that game.
You got FNAF?
Anyway.
Let's move on, please.
We're having, like, some serious PTSD
I got, like,
here.
I just had a flashback.
Yeah, yeah. And we've one more on the list. Take it away.
Danganronpa, which is probably a game you've never heard of.
Super dark.
Yeah, very, very dark. Very interesting characters, though. Very weird characters. I actually haven't played this game, but the creator of this game... no, you explain it. You're better at talking about it. So, I get too worked up
when you talk personally. I know. So the creator of it, he actually had like a development blog on PlayStation 1 month, and he's going on. He's ripping on all these games that came out, and then Persona came up, and he's like, I would love to rip on this game and like say that I hate it or it's terrible, and he's like, but I honestly can't because it's so good, and he's like, and I'm just mad that it came out before Dangan because a lot of people didn't play Dangan because they were playing Persona.
Oh. So like really cool of him to say that.
Yeah. But basically Danganronpa, you're locked in a building and there's a crazy half-colored teddy bear that's making you kill your classmates. Mm-hmm. So but you like have to do it secretly or you're publicly executed.
Yeah. It's a very interesting game. Weird. Mm-hmm. Then some other games that are not like multi-platform or exclusively Sony. We have... I'll get these out of the way because she doesn't like it. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I can't not mention it. Relax. I can't not mention it just because it won 1 million awards and everybody loves it except for you. And it was a very big deal because it was an open world Zelda game. We also have Super Mario Odyssey, which is very... Hey.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Which is still... It came out like at the end of the year, but it was super anticipated all year and it did very well.
It proves that Mario is evil.
Okay. Then we also have Cuphead, which came out for Xbox One and PC, which I love this game, and I wish it came out on PS4, but I play it on PC, so I'm fine. All hand-drawn animations, amazing soundtrack, really great, challenging levels. If you have any patience at all, I would suggest that you play it, because it's definitely worth your time. Then we have some titles... also for Xbox and PC, before I forget, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds really shot off this year. Just everybody started playing it this year. Streamers, YouTubers, kids, everybody. Everybody played this game this year.
Except me. Because it's people.
Even I played it. But yeah, that game got huge this year, so I can't not mention it again. And then we have some other smaller titles. Fire Emblem Echoes came out on 3DS. We don't really have that many other things to talk about for 3DS just because
it was kind of
not
slow.
Really my forte either.
Yeah.
I play Animal Crossing and some Fire Emblem games and Pokemon.
Yeah, he plays Fire Emblem. I don't play Fire Emblem. I don't even remember the last game I played on my DS.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I bought a 3DS game. Just because Switch has been taking over, so they haven't really been focusing that much energy on their 3DS, I think.
My Switch is decked out like Skyrim.
Oh yeah, Skyrim for the Switch.
Yeah, Skyrim came out for the Switch. And
also
Skyrim
VR. That one did very well. Some other PC titles that we have: Dream Daddy, which is made by the people at Game Grumps. Doki Doki Literature Club. Don't look this up because unless you are...
Go ahead. Go into it.
Okay, well, it's okay. It's under the farce that it's a dating simulator, but it's horrific and depressing and scary and sad. It has 1 million warnings before you start it up that's like, don't play this if you're easily disturbed or have issues with depression or...
It's like trigger warnings.
Yeah, trigger warnings everywhere. So it's under the farce that it's a dating sim, but it's really not, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. Seriously, though, do not play this game if you have any issues with depression, triggering images, or are easily disturbed. I'm serious about that one. That one is actually free to play, and they have already announced that they're going to be making a second one for next year, which is I'm excited for. Another one, Hollow Knight. Sorry, I love Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a great game. Hollow Knight is so good. Okay, this is a Steam game that is not super well known, but it got a 92% on Metacritic rating, and it is so good and takes so long to beat and is so challenging at times. And the world is just amazing, and Hollow Knight is such a good game. It's up there. It's up there for me.
Something's going on over here.
I just had a moment.
Yeah.
I just had a Persona-esque response.
That might have been more than a Persona.
No. It got what? A minute, maybe.
All right.
Maybe 40 seconds.
All right.
Hollow Knight on the PC. You can get it on Steam.
Yeah, huh?
So that's pretty much I wanted to end with it. I did that on purpose.
Okay.
So that's pretty much I'm sure this will come out and we'll be like, oh, why didn't we talk about this? Or why didn't we talk about that? But there's just so many games that come out in a year, we can't possibly cover every single one of them. Should we move into popularity next or letdowns?
We'll just go right to letdowns.
Okay, we'll talk
Take her
about...
down from whatever that was over there.
Let's talk about games that came out that really let us down.
Or sucked, like Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Andromeda came out after 1 million years of being in production and being like,
yeah, it's about how awesome
it's
going to
be so good. It's going to be the greatest thing you've ever seen. And it came out and everyone was like...
It was like No Man's Sky style letdown. Yeah. Although I was right on that one. I knew that one would suck.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the bigger games earlier this year that just was like... Then we have... I hate to say it really because I enjoyed it for a month or so, but Destiny 2 I do consider to be kind of a letdown. There was like 3 weeks to a month worth of good content, and then there was just nothing, and you can't make a game like that.
And you can't make a game where you lie to your players.
Yeah, you can't just...
Multiple times.
You just can't do it. Star Wars Battlefront 2, of course. We're not letting you get away.
Yeah. No, that's like on the level of NBA style, like shit microtransactions.
Yeah. Yep. For Honor... Only PvP.
Yeah.
Super
campaign,
exploity.
Super short. Yeah, exploity. The peer-to-peer was a fail.
It was cool for a little while, but then it just was like...
Yeah. Awful.
And this one was kind of a letdown for me because I love Banjo-Kazooie. Ukulele, unfortunately, it tried so hard to stay true to that formula that it just like became nothing.
Yeah.
It was so absorbed in trying to be Banjo-Kazooie that it was not its own thing, and it was boring and disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sad about that one.
Yeah. And NBA, which I mentioned briefly, but NBA, they really went way too far with their microtransactions. And I usually don't give a shit about microtransactions.
Yeah. That one was intense.
We were told that you have to use microtransactions, virtual currency, to preview your haircuts.
Or anything.
So,
what's the point in that?
Yeah, that's stupid. To put it bluntly.
Yeah. And then we also have games that came out last year or
previous
years that are still super duper popular.
And awesome.
Yeah. Overwatch is the first thing I want to talk about because it came out last year and won Game of the Year last year and still great this year. Rainbow Six Siege is also still super popular.
Yep, it died out for a little while and then it came back
full force. Yeah. GTA.
It's never gonna die.
People are not gonna stop playing that until the next one comes out.
Yeah, it's never gonna go away.
Witcher 3.
Yes, Witcher 3, awesome.
They have like new DLC and everything too, right?
Well, both of the DLCs, neither came out this year.
And whoa.
And it's still...
It feels like it did.
They came out with a complete edition this year.
Oh, that's
which
what
bundled
it was.
it together.
Okay.
But the last, Blood and Wine was the last DLC, and I'm pretty sure that came out last year towards the end. So...
we also have Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or CSGO, if you're familiar with it. Rocket League, still really popular.
Still has tournaments, still everything. Final Fantasy 14, although they did just have an expansion this year, Stormblood, so there's now been 2 expansions. Still super awesome, super relevant. I know Stormblood pulled a lot of people back in with the introduction of the Samurai class.
Yep.
Amazing. Only downside is you have to sub for it, which is I think the reason why they're not as big as they could be. But you still have to sub for Final Fantasy 11, and there's still people on it. And you still have to pay.
Oh, Square.
Monthly.
Oh, Square, why?
Yeah, so that's never going away. Games that used to have subs that don't now. Elder Scrolls Online.
Which is why I play it now.
Yeah. Morrowind. Morrowind was a fantastic expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Like, adding in that part of the continent was just an amazing choice because the environment of Morrowind is so unlike any other in the Elder Scrolls verse.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since we've had it. It was just a great call.
That's when I started playing. Because it was just like, it was like nostalgic almost, you know?
Yeah, and the amazing thing about that is no one's going to have the same stat build as anybody else.
There's just so many ways you can go because you can be, you know, a Templar, but then there's like 3 different bases of that and builds and types
and then you can put all your skills in what type of weapons you want to use to get those, so those are separate from your class and it's incredible how versatile that game is.
So you could have a Templar that's got a dual wield build, or you have one that's complete magic and has a staff. It's just, you'll never find 2 characters that are the same.
I play a dual wielding warden.
Wardens are cool.
Wardens are awesome. I was so happy when they brought that in.
I almost picked a warden.
Because originally I played a sorcerer, but I played like a battle mage. So when they introduced a warden, I was like, oh, it's mine. So
yeah, Warden's like
amazing.
I play with a friend of mine and he picked Warden, so I didn't want us both to be Warden. Even though I know that they can be different, totally I didn't want to both be Wardens, so I was like, oh, I'll be a Templar.
Yeah, I stack my builds so that I can run solo too. Yeah, you can, even though it's an MMO, you can build yourself so that you can run like all the boss battles and the dungeons and everything like solo.
Which you love.
Yes, yes, it's perfect. You just need to like really plan how you're gonna do it, but you can.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll move into things that we're looking forward to for 2018 in gaming, because this year, I guess after talking about it, I agree. This year has been a really, really great year for gaming. But next year has a pretty solid setup to be just as good.
It's just if they can actually do it.
Oh, yeah.
And if nothing gets pushed back.
Which has been such a favorite of companies.
Like, seriously, how many times can you push back Dead Island 2?
Oh, my God.
Like, that was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I was working in freaking...
I was in Midland Park.
Yeah, I was in Willowbrook. But yeah, so things that are planned to come out for 2018, or at least have been talked about and we're hoping will come out next year. I know personally I have quite a few things that I'm looking forward to.
I have like 2, maybe 3.
One of them being God of War. I cannot wait for that game. There's nothing like slaying a couple gods.
See, I can't actually play it though.
Gotta get over it, man.
No, they're my own gods. I can't kill. It's bad juju.
Just gotta kill them, man.
Bad juju.
It's just a game, man.
Although Jormungand, I'm gonna make Lucas play it. I'm just gonna...
Yeah.
He's
That's
gonna
fine.
hate it. I'm gonna backseat game.
It's fine. As long as you're involved in it.
Oh yeah. He's gonna throw me out of the room.
Something that's been anticipated, Red Dead Redemption 2.
That I'm excited for.
Hopefully they finally put it out. I'm hoping soon. I'm hoping early next year.
Yeah, I'm hoping spring is true. Because originally it was supposed to be fall this past year.
Yeah. I loved that game.
I did
played
too.
that on PS.
It was like a Western Skyrim.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. We also have Monster Hunter Worlds. Or World. I keep saying Worlds.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It's one world.
I don't know, I just think of it and I'm like, Monster Hunter Worlds. It just sounds epic. I don't know.
It does sound more epic than world. World sounds kind of lame.
It makes it sound like there's all these different things and there are different things.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't know. In my mind it sounds better as Monster Hunter Worlds. So I always end up saying that. Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, if we could finally get that next year, I will die.
I want Final Fantasy 7.
Hopefully
8's better, but 7 is the one getting the
you're
remaster.
like, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please Square, anything.
Yeah. They remastered 9. They're doing a full remaster on 7. 8's right there. Right there.
Yeah, it kind of feels like at that point, it's like, why not just...
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Give me.
Is 7, 8, 9?
Yeah, huh? Give me.
We've also got, if you listen to the last episode, you'll know, Catherine Full Body. So I'm excited for that.
She's gonna leave it there.
I am.
Wow.
I'm just gonna... Because I have other things to talk about. Like, Detroit, Become Human. Okay. For anyone who has followed it since 2012, like I have, from that Kara, like Quantum Dreams Kara short that they put up on YouTube, I have been waiting for this game. And now that they finally have, like, screenshots and trailers.
Yeah, and demos when you go to shows.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I am so excited for that game. I recently got a 4K TV and my PS4 Pro. And it's available to, like, preview stuff, like screenshots on the PlayStation Store. They have, like, a close-up of someone's face, and it's just, like...
You can see the skin texture.
Yeah, you can, like, see pores and eyelashes and every individual eyebrow hair, and I'm just like, I want to touch you, because you look so real. I'm just very excited for this game. For anyone who doesn't know, like, the main premise is, like... Assuming they stick to it, at least that's what I'm seeing in the trailers, it's like robots becoming sentient and
yeah, they're
aware.
Like your standard service robot you're issued and this and that, and then kind of like iRobot. And there was that TV show that came out last year. It's like everything that's ever put out about robots, they worry that they're gonna rebel. Yeah. But these ones, it's not like they're rebelling to crush humanity. They're rebelling to have equal rights. Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be really good.
And like, as with Heavy Rain, their previous game, which if you haven't played, they put a remaster out
Heavy Rain is
for digital.
Yeah.
And it's so good. because there's so many storylines you can get. Mm-hmm. But basically you have 2 or 3 characters that you play as, and whatever choices you make determine what happens next in the game, and no one's going to really have the same route. Mm-hmm. So you play as one of the androids that's like rebelling. You play as an android that works as like an ambassador. Mm-hmm. They're like an emotional specialist, and they negotiate between humanity and the androids, and that's their job before this happens.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. The demo they put out, you can watch. It's like 10 minutes, maybe not even. And it just lets you see all the different possible options you can get in just this one tiny smidget of the game. And it's just incredible. I love games. It looks really good. Like that.
I'm really excited for that game. Like I said, since 2012 I've been following the development of this. We also have coming out Last of Us Part 2, which I'm very excited about.
Looks like it's going to be even darker.
Oh my god, the trailers have me so emotional. I'm just like, I'm questioning everything. I feel like a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, what does all this mean? What is this? Who's walking? Like, it's going to be really, really good. We also have a lot. Far Cry 5.
Which looks pretty cool, actually.
It actually does. It's like a very topical thing.
Kind of relevant?
Yeah, a little.
A little.
Yeah. It's like a religious cult, sort of.
Yeah.
They want this one town, I don't remember where it is. I know it's in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I think it's a fictional town, but they want everyone in this town to join their religion or die, essentially. And it's like a whole thing. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Then we have Ni no Kuni 2, which I am very excited about because it's just such a cute game and it's wholesome and nice and fun. And again, I'm gonna leave it there.
Pure. She wants to say pure.
It's pure. It's so pure. It's so good. It's so nice. We also have Days Gone, which I am very much looking forward to. It looks like it's gonna be an amazing zombie game. There was one like gameplay / trailer that was put up of like this guy just like the main character slaying almost like ocean of zombies. They're just climbing, falling over each other. And at the end, he's like killed a majority of the ones that are running after him, and you see him get on top of this building and look out.
First trailer they did.
Look out, and there's still millions of zombies. Yeah. So
I got goosebumps the first time they showed that. Like that trailer was
I'm really
incredible.
Looking forward to that game because I love zombie games, but there haven't really been that many that have that horde.
Yeah. And this one, the animals turn too.
Yeah,
which I haven't seen in forever.
Yeah, it's like they just neglect it.
Yeah.
Like, animals? What are those?
Yeah, but you see like zombie bears, zombie wolves. Like, it looks pretty cool.
I'm really excited for that. We also have here. Why don't you cover some of these? I've been talking like crazy.
Soul Calibur 6 up for reserve already.
Yes, put money down. I need it. I'm so excited.
I cannot wait. They said they're gonna try so hard to like keep it like the old style.
I really just hope that
it's not 5.
Yeah, that, and I also hope they don't just decide to exclude certain characters for some reason.
Well, from what I can gather, they've pretty much said like it's almost like they're redoing 1. So it takes place in the beginning of the story arc. Okay. So,
but are they gonna keep...
Our girls probably won't be in it.
No, Tira.
Amy.
My crazy hula hooping menace.
So, but then the other thing that scares me about this is the thing that they are introducing called reverse something. And supposedly...
reverse art?
Yeah. You can counter any attack with the push of like a button. Which makes me really...
I didn't realize it was that simple.
It makes me really worried. Well, that's what they said. So maybe it's going to be harder to execute. Maybe you can only do it so many times. I'm really worried about it. It makes me feel like they're trying to do like the X-ray attack. But as a defensive mechanism.
Right.
So I don't know.
I can see that worry. I feel it.
I'm concerned.
See it in my furrowed brow right now.
Spider-Man. Despite my name, I don't like Spider-Man. Probably because it's geared towards Gwen Stacy and not MJ. But it looks like it's going to be really cool if you like Spider-Man.
It should have actually good physics.
Yeah, if Carnage is in it, I'll like it. If he's not in it, I don't care. State of Decay 2, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was never really my cup of tea.
Vampire! Woo! Woo!
Looks good. I'm excited.
Really
it reminds
good.
me of Vampire the Masquerade a little bit.
It just feels right.
Yeah.
Because he is a doctor in this, and he's a vampire. It's like that classic Dracula, Dr. Acula, pun. It's like that classic story, and I'm
excited.
I can't wait.
I'm really excited. And I loved Remember Me.
Oh,
which is what this company had done previously.
Yeah,
and that
Remember Me was good.
So underrated.
That was such a nobody played it.
And why did you not play it? It had a nice picture of her ass. Why?
Right on there.
And then Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Which originally was cast as Silent Hills.
Yes. Silent Hills. That PT trailer though. That demo is so good. Oh my god. Horror.
It's totally different, but
I know, it's totally
looks
different.
pretty sick.
Norman Reedus though.
Yeah.
Any of you Walking Dead fans or just Norman Reedus fans?
Boondock Saint fans.
There you go, that's even better.
That's where he's really...
And then some other stuff that's just totally not even confirmed, like GTA 6. They're gonna make it, but we don't know if it's confirmed for next year. Pokemon coming out on the Switch. Nothing confirmed, but it's something.
Why is Smash Brothers not confirmed for the Switch? Like, they cut out their biggest community. Mm-hmm. So.
And then another one that's, I think it's confirmed to come out, but I don't think it's going to have a huge following anymore. Darksiders 3.
Death.
What is
War.
What? Are you okay?
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it'll be good. I'm just saying I don't think it really has that big of a following anymore.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
I think if they did, the rest of the Horsemen, brought in Famine, who's not my favorite or anything, I think it'd be really good.
And those are, the big things. Those are the biggest things that are coming out.
Yeah. This episode went way longer than we thought.
I know.
We figured this would be we'd be pushing to get it to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now we're sitting at 53. Actually, it's probably less than 53 because we started that pretty early.
A little.
It's probably 48.
Hopefully you're still with us.
Hopefully, or we're talking to ourselves now.
I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff here.
This was a good year.
Controversial games,
Mario.
All right. We get it. You hate Legend of Zelda. You hate Mario.
I'm very anti-Nintendo, really, is what it is.
I have no problem with Nintendo. I couldn't just drop $300 on the Switch when it came out, so I didn't get to play any of these games that everybody's talking about.
You can try it on my Switch.
You know what they should put on the Switch? Animal Crossing. I'd like a new Animal Crossing game. Pocket Camp doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm tired of it. But yeah, I think this was an amazing year for games. And, what we covered in this essentially hour is not even close to all of the games that came out.
Barely the surface.
Yeah, we just are scratching at it, But I'm really, really optimistic for next year with games.
I am too.
There's no Persona coming out or anything, but
maybe they'll put it on the Vita.
Ooh. They did do Persona 4 Golden and put that out on the Vita. Maybe they'll do Persona 5
We
Vita.
forgot what we're most excited about for next year.
What?
Persona.
Persona animation.
And dancing.
And dancing.
Persona 5 Dancing Star Night.
Something like that.
And Persona 3.
I'm upset though because any of you who know Persona 3 characters, I haven't seen Shinji in it yet. He can't...
Which one is he? The hat?
Yeah.
The hat. I like that one too. I didn't play it. I just pick who I think looks cute.
He's beautiful and I haven't seen him in the trailer. What?
And
stressed out.
And with that stress, we're going to let her go.
Let me go cry about it. So thank you guys so much for joining us on our best of episode. We hope you will come back next week for another episode with us.
Yes. Tell us, let us know, comments, wherever you are watching or hearing us, what your best game was or what you hated the most, what you were most let down about. Maybe tell us what you're most excited about if you're a Persona fan. Maybe.
You can support us on our Patreon.
Patreon.com/RPG podcast.
And you can listen and download to this episode on Podbean.
And iTunes. We are on iTunes now.
iTunes! So we will put those links in the description, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.